Hey guys, it's Light here, and today I want to make a video discussing and kind of breaking down every single faction in Starfield, however briefly. This video did take a while to make, so if you enjoy it, please do show your support by hitting the like button. With that said, let's get into the video. Okay, so we already know of 7 factions in Starfield, which is actually quite a lot. We have the Crimson Fleet, the United Colonies, the Freestar Collective, the Cryptic mercenaries, the Violent Spacers, the House of Varun, and of course Constellation. So what I'm going to do in today's video is go through all 7 factions one by one and explain everything that we know about them, what they'll be like and if they're joinable and all of that normal good stuff. So starting us off we have the Crimson Fleet, Starfield's pirate faction, if you will. This is the official armour of the Crimson Fleet. As you can see, they have different variations, which is cool. Now this faction, unlike others that we'll talk about here in a minute, is very different to any other faction Bethesda Game Studios has ever done before. Now I have made an entire video on this faction, so I'll just briefly sum up here. Now we know that this is a faction of space pirates. Each ship is led by a captain and they're kind of their own crew, however they all follow the same code. Personally, I see this as kind of like how I see the Ravengers. Now for those of you who aren't aware, the Ravengers are a space pirate group in Marvel Comics, or more popularly in the Guardians of the Galaxy /MCU movies. It's one big faction that's kind of split and they do their own thing, however they all follow the same Ravenger code and report to the same leader, essentially. This is how I personally imagine the Crimson Fleet being, as it has been kind of confirmed by Bethesda that the Crimson Fleet are kind of like this. Like separate groups all following the same code. Now we also know that the Crimson Fleet is a joinable faction, which is great. Bethesda has confirmed that we can even be kind of like a spy and join the Crimson Fleet and report back to another faction to let them know what the Crimson Fleet is up to, kind of like an undercover cop in the faction. This sounds really interesting to me. Unfortunately, we don't know what faction we'd be reporting back to, but if I had to guess, I'd say it's either the Freestar Collective or the United Colonies. Also in this picture here, if we zoom in to the guy's little backpack thing, or whatever the hell that is, we can see the official logo of the Crimson Fleet here. Okay, so next on the list is the United Colonies. At some point I am planning to do videos based around the entire faction, so again I will sum up here very quickly. Now we know that the United Colonies, or the UC for short as Bethesda have called them before, are based in New Atlantis. Now if I had to guess, I'd say that the United Colonies are kind of like Starfield's version of the Elder Scrolls Empire. They likely run and rule this particular solar system that we will be playing in. Again, that is just my guess though, so don't take my word for it. The only other thing we know about the United Colonies is that this is their logo, and that they were involved in the giant space war with the Freestar Collective before signing a peace treaty, and now both factions are at an uneasy peace, which brings us to the Freestar Collective. Okay, so we know that the Freestar Collective are solely based in Aquila City. Now, I do believe that the Freestar Collective will be Starfield's Rebel Alliance / Freedom Fighters, if that makes sense. I have no evidence for this or insider information of that, it's just pure speculation again on my part. Now we do know that this is the official logo of the Freestar Collective. Obviously we just discussed their role, however briefly, in the Space Wars. I do have an entire video on the Freestar Collective that I posted just a few days ago, so if you want to know even more about them, check them out in that video. And next we have the Cryptic mercenaries, a faction I am very excited about. Now unfortunately we don't know anything about them really, besides the fact that this is their official armour. It looks absolutely awesome to me though, it gives me hard Mandalorian vibes. I really hope that the Cryptic mercenaries are a joinable faction. I imagine them to be kind of like the Gunners in Fallout 4, just taking jobs for money, one massive faction reporting back to one boss, taking jobs as private security, or taking hit jobs and things like that. I really hope that we can join this faction because I want that armor, dude. It looks so awesome in my opinion. If we can't join them, I'm killing the first member I find just to get that armor. And next we have the Violent Spacers. We don't know anything about them, unfortunately, but if I had to guess, I would say they're Starfield's version of bandits or raiders, just a regular hostile faction for us to fight. Again, I have no evidence of that, it's just my guess. This is their official armour for the Violent Spacers, the one in the middle here, and this could just be regular armour, kind of like how raiders in Fallout wear leather armour sometimes instead of raider armour, if that makes sense. But yeah, unfortunately that's all we know about them. I do believe that they're just going to be a regular hostile group, and I don't think that we'll be able to join them, but again, that is just my guess. And next we have the House of Varun. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. We know absolutely nothing of this faction, unfortunately, other than their name and the fact that they are apparently religious zealots. Again, this is just my speculation, but I believe this faction won't be joinable, and they'll be Starfield's version of the Children of Atom from the Fallout universe, if that makes sense. Just a batshit crazy group of cultists. I'm honestly surprised at the lack of speculation surrounding these guys, but nonetheless I am very excited to see and learn more about them and to make lore videos on them when the game actually comes out. And finally, our last known faction is of course Constellation. This is the faction I'd say we know most about. We know that we'll be joining them right off the bat, likely as soon as we start the game. I have discussed this before, so I won't go too much into it. We know that they give us this weird watch, this Starfield Pip-Boy kind of thing. We know that they also own Vasco, one of our robot companions in Starfield. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if they give us our first spaceship too, assuming that we can purchase more than one spaceship or new ships throughout the game. I believe that this red and white armor is the official outfit / uniform of Constellation members. It has their logo on the side here, so we know that Constellation is the last group of space explorers as well. And from what I understand, I don't think that Constellation is going to have any kind of political agenda towards whatever is going on between the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective. I think they're just out here to find, explore, and all of that usual space exploration stuff. Constellation may also be the faction we build colonies for, if you believe the rumours about that. And that is pretty much everything that we do know about Constellation. Now obviously I have skipped over a couple of very small minor details when discussing all of these factions, because this is not supposed to be a very in-depth video, it's just supposed to be a minor small breakdown of all of the factions that we do know about, so that does pretty much do it for today's video. That is every single faction that we know about in Starfield. But I want to know, what faction are you most excited to join? Let me know in the comments below, and if you are new around here and you want to stay up to date on Starfield news, leaks and content, consider subscribing. We're hoping to hit 600 subscribers here soon, and your support would truly mean the world. Also, we are just a few weeks away from the Starfield showcase, so if you really do want to stay up to date on all of the coverage, be sure to subscribe because we cover it all, and I mean all of it here. Anyway guys, with that said, we are going to wrap up. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I really hope to see you in the next one.